fight poverty, not Muslims. That's the message that's coming in from Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself, breaking his silence over the communal strife following the Dadri killing. The Prime Minister said it is time to put an end to all the communal politics in India, even as he appealed to people not to fall prey to hate mongerers, even if it is coming from the Prime Minister of the country. Prime Minister did say that one should follow the path set by President Pranab Mukherjee to ensure that the country's communal fabric stays intact. It's a big climb down of sorts for Modi himself, who has been facing criticism from all corners and everybody concerned for not taking the lead to calm the situation down.
But there are no signs of a let-up in the battle over beef. The Congress has hit back at Modi, saying that instead of condemning the Dadri killing, the PM has been wearing different masks to suit his political needs. Samajwadi Party chief Mulayam Singh Yadav today jumped into the battleground, squarely putting the blame on the BJP for inciting communal tension. The PM may have finally spoken out, but is it too little, too late? And more importantly, will he be able to shift the focus back to reforms and development? Or has the narrative changed? That's our top story on Business Tonight.
हम तय कर लें क्या हिंदुओं ने मुसलमान के खिलाफ लड़ना है कि गरीबी के खिलाफ लड़ना है। मुसलमान तय कर लें कि हिंदू के खिलाफ लड़ना है कि गरीबी के खिलाफ लड़ना है। और मैंने बम धमाकों के बीच रक्त रंजित गांधी मैदान में खड़े होकर के कहा था, हमारे देश का भला तब होगा हिंदू और मुसलमान एक होकर के हम गरीबी के खिलाफ लड़ाई लड़े, हम गरीबी को परास्त करें। ये विचार और संस्कार लेकर के हम निकले हुए लोग हैं। देश को एक रहना है, एकता, सद्भावना, भाईचारा, शांति, यही देश को आगे ले जाएगा। और इसलिए मेरे भाइयों बहनों, मैं देशवासियों को कहना चाहता हूं कि राजनीति के कारण छोटे मोटे हार अपना राजनीतिक स्वार्थ सीधा करने के लिए उटपटांग बयानबाजी करने पर तुले रहते हैं। मैं देशवासियों को कहता हूं, इन राजनेताओं की बयानबाजियों पर ध्यान मत दीजिए। खुद नरेंद्र मोदी कहता है, अगर उसके भी बात मत सुनिए। अगर सुनना है तो कल हमारे देश के राष्ट्रपति श्रद्धेय प्रणब मुखर्जी दादा ने जो भाषण किया है और देश को जो संदेश दिया है, उससे बड़ा कोई मार्गदर्शन नहीं हो सकता है। हम सभी देशवासी, 125 करोड़ देशवासी, भारत के सबसे बड़ा मुखिया राष्ट्रपति जी ने जो कहा है, उससे बड़ा कोई विचार नहीं हो सकता, उससे बड़ी कोई दिशा नहीं हो सकती, उससे बड़ी कोई प्रेरणा नहीं हो सकती। मैं देशवासियों से यही कहूंगा कि राजनीति का स्वार्थ सीधा करने के तरीके बंद होने चाहिए। राष्ट्रपति महोदय ने हमें रास्ता दिखाया है, हम सबने मिलकर के उस रास्ते पर चलना होगा। और तभी जाकर के विश्व जो हिंदुस्तान से अपेक्षाएं कर रहा है, उन अपेक्षाओं को हम पूरा कर पाएंगे।
All right, for more on that big story and that silence being finally broken, we are joined by two very, very special guests. Two men who know their minds and speak it also. Dileep Padgaonkar, consulting editor with the Times of India, and Prabhu Chawla, editorial director of the New Indian Express. Gentlemen, thanks very much for being with us this evening. Prabhu Chawla, let me begin with you. What do you make of the Prime Minister breaking his silence if he was under attack from various sections of society, including media, and he chose to do it in his last rally today in Bihar?
Basically, it seemed that he was pushed by the statement of President, whom said very clearly that core values of the country cannot be compromised. He was speaking at a function where he released my book, the nationalist president, yesterday, where he made a 15-minute speech, and out of those 15 minutes, 10 minutes were devoted to only cultural pluralism in this country. I think it was a responsibility of a Prime Minister to react to the advice given by the President, and I think Prime Minister did the right job by speaking and answering to his advice, and which will go well with the people of India.
Right. Dileep Padgaonkar, let me throw it to you then. The Prime Minister did not speak about Dadri or the beef issue in particular, but he did speak about communal harmony, about Hindu-Muslim unity. Do you believe the Prime Minister has, in a sense, broken his silence on all the communal rant? Will this silence the fringe elements?
I do believe that he's broken his silence. He ought to have broken it a long, long time ago, because the kind of vicious hate speeches that have been heard in this country in the past 14, 15 months, it is the PM who ought to have intervened much earlier. But then, better late than never. And as I heard him speak, I think he was as explicit as he could be. His message was intended primarily, of course, to those of his own ministers and to those leading lights or dimmer lights of his Sangh Parivar who have been indulging in this kind of hate speech for the past several months. But I'm equally convinced that that speech was meant for some others as well.
Very quickly, do you believe the fear of a possible backfire against the BJP could have coaxed him into breaking this silence? He was, after all, elected on the mandate of development and economic revival in 2014, and that was seemingly hijacked by the Hindutva agenda.
Absolutely. I think the Prime Minister is a thoroughly pragmatic man. He knew that after his spectacular election victory in May 2014, within a few months, his party was trounced in Delhi. It didn't do very much better in many other by-elections as well. So that is one factor. The other factor, which I think is equally important, is that Mr. Modi knows very well that you cannot have this kind of communal-led violence, hate speeches in the country, and then try and attract investment from abroad. I mean, he's been going around the world with a very tight focus on enhancing India's strategic capacity and in modernizing the economy. Now, you can't modernize the defense forces and modernize the economy if your society is moving backwards towards fairly medieval times. And I think he couldn't possibly have run with the development hare and hunted with the Hindutva hound at the same time. So I think that explains why he chose to break his silence today. And of course, he had a reference point, and that reference point was what President Pranab Mukherjee had to say yesterday. And he mentioned that for quite some time in the course of that speech.
Prabhu Chawla, you agree with the fact and the kind of pitch that Dileep Padgaonkar is making? He was conscious of the image that the BJP it was taking a beating, and is that why he spoke, you think?
He broke his silence in Bihar. That is more important. You must see that you are speaking at a rally in Bihar at the moment. This is the first time you are speaking at a public function. So yesterday, President spoke at a function, and today he reacted to it. Obviously, it was meant to some kind of create an impression that his own elements should also tone down now. But the problem is he doesn't take action against anybody. What happens that he should also reflect through the, not only through the words, but through the work he does for his party or for the government. He is expected to take action against them because these elements have been speaking more oftenly, and he has been warning them to public function. But on the ground, there is no action against them. For example, all the bad elements, whether they are in the VHP or in the BJP, elected MLAs of the BJP in Uttar Pradesh are speaking about some kind of a language which nobody can tolerate in a civil society. So I'm thinking that he is now realizing that his image as a development leader is getting a beating. So he has to get back to the development platform, and he has to say something which can at least temporarily silence the elements which are trying to create a problem for him.
Dileep Padgaonkar, let you have the last word in this quick debate. The big question now, can he rein in those the fringe elements really who've caused all this damage in the first place? Will they finally get this signal?
Well, listen, if the Prime Minister wants to be credible in what he said today, then it is obvious to me that the next time any of these hate mongers open their mouths, he will make sure that they are banished from his party and they are banished from the Sangh Parivar. So it is his actions then which are going to speak louder, much louder than the words that he spoke today.
Dileep Padgaonkar, Prabhu Chawla, thanks so much for joining in with that perspective on this big debate on business tonight. Hopefully, the Prime Minister's actions will speak louder than his words.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ET Now Live. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ET Now.